So, welcome to this short course on web development. We
Yeah,
have a lot of things to cover. For generally the course outline, we're going to look at four main technologies. That is HTML, which is the language that is
yeah,
the HTML language that is used for publishing documents on the internet. Then we're going to look at CSS, what is going to help
yeah,
you to format those documents nicely. Then you're also going to look at JavaScript, which now gives your web pages the animation. You can do the validation, you can fetch data from remote locations, you can change portions of the page and stuff like that without necessarily reloading the entire page. And of course, finally, we're going to use a tool called WordPress that is now going to combine all these things together and make it visually easy to be able to design your website or your web application. So that is generally what is going to be the agenda of this 10-week course. So as I said, we're going to look at HTML for publishing, CSS for styling, JavaScript for animation, validation, remote access of data, and all those things that we want to do to make our page alive. Then WordPress, tying everything together in a tool that allows us to be able to use drag and drop to create our websites and stuff like that. So I think that sounds interesting. And as we move along, we're going to take a bit of projects that we're going to do along the way. So it's going to be
yeah.
as interactive as it possibly could. So
Okay.
yes, so before we get started, I'd like us to
Yeah,
set up our development environment. So we need to set up our development environment so that now we can be able to
yeah,
start this course effectively. Now, for our development environment, we will need certain things.
yeah,
I'll just open our document
yeah.
here. Blank.
What document?
No, I'm saying I'm opening our document so that I can be able to type
Okay.
a few things that we need. So for our development
Yeah,
environment, we'll need certain things. So one of the things we'll need is a code editor. A code editor
code
is
it.
code editor. This is a software or an application that will allow us to type in code, allowing us to type code. So whenever we are going to to issue commands to the browser, we're going to use a code editor to type those commands in. Okay. The other tool we need is a browser. For a browser, we will need to be able to have any new browser that allows us to be able to view web pages. So any modern browser will do. I did not give us examples. So with code editors, we have something like Visual Studio Code. We have Sublime Text. We also have Atom. There's Notepad, Plus Plus. There's so many. Most of them are actually free. Visual Studio Code is free, and this is what we are going to use. So Visual Studio Code is the tool that we will use. Okay. So any modern browser, we have different browsers. There is Chrome, there is Edge, there is Firefox, there's also Phoenix, there's Opera, amongst others. So these are browsers. A browser is basically a piece of software that allows us to be able to view web pages. So any new modern browser would do. Then we also need to have something called Git or geographical tracking, geographical information tracking or Git. Now, this one allows us to be able to track changes in our code. Okay. So whenever I make changes to our code, maybe I coded something yesterday, I have made changes today. I need to be able to keep track of the things that have changed as far as my code is concerned, so that if there was a mistake, I can easily roll back to what was working fine yesterday. Okay. So in short, I can be able to undo whatever changes I made to the program or the application that makes it break down. So ideally, this is what we need. Now, when it comes to code editor, we might also need plugins for this code editor. So for code editor, we might also need plugins. For example, we have something called Live Server. Live server will help us be able to view pages or to check the changes on the page as we are typing the code. So this is what we will need. Of course, there is finally here a terminal. I forgot that a terminal. This one will be used to issue commands. Commands, e.g., publishing our content, creating directories. Directories are folders, though we can still use other ways for creating them. But generally, we'll need a terminal to issue some certain commands. Like if I wanted to run some certain services, then probably maybe I'll use a command line for this. So this is what we need to set up as far as our integrated development environment is concerned. So I'll put here integrated. As far as our integrated application development is concerned, this is
Yeah.
what you're going to need. We need a code editor and some plugins.
Yeah.
We need a
Yeah.
browser to be able to view the pages. We need geographical information tracking or Git and GitHub.
Yeah.
Git and GitHub,
Yeah.
so that we are now able to make changes to our code and you're able to view these changes and you're able to store them in a remote location so that in the event that we need to share them with multiple people or with other people or just to recover from disaster, we can be able to
Yeah.
extract that information from the remote uh, location. Then terminal for issuing commands, maybe like publishing our content, starting servers, shutting down servers, restarting servers, quitting applications, opening ports, and all those kinds of things. So we will need these tools together. Now, the good thing is that browsers are free, code editors
Yeah.
are free, Git is
Yeah.
free, and Terminal is also free. So you don't need to spend any money to get to set up this live environment. You can just simply set it up on your computer, and that is what I would like us to do next, setting up this environment. Now, let's start with the code editor. So the code editor we're going to use, as I've mentioned, is Visual Studio Code, the one that I have highlighted here. So what you're going to do, I already
Yeah.
have it installed on my system, but I'm just going to show
Mhm.
you where you can get it. So what you can do is just open a browser window,
Yeah.
then go to Google and type GitHub. I'm not a Visual Studio Code. Actually, just type VS Code because that's what is popularly known as. Then it will bring you these results over here. Then just click on download.
Okay.
Then you will select your platform. My platform is Windows, so you click on Windows. Then automatically it will start downloading. As you can see at the top here, it's actually downloading, right? So
Yeah.
we'll give
Yeah.
it a minute or so to download until it finishes. Then we can now be able to install it. Now, installing it
Yeah.
is just a matter of clicking on this file once it is downloaded. Then you go next, 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 all the way to the end, right? So that's not really a big deal.
Yeah.
I want to believe that at some point you have installed some application, so you know a thing or two about how you can be able to install an application, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever installed any application on a computer?
No, not yet.
Not yet. But the good thing is once you download it, let me just
Yeah.
finish downloading it, then I already have it installed, so maybe the behavior might not be the same as yours, but I'm hoping that it will be more or less likely be the same, right? Okay, so
Yeah. It's almost there.
yeah, it's almost there. And my internet is not so bad, so I think that should be able to work out nicely.
Yeah.
So let's give it a minute or so. It should be done. It's not a very big application. Well, of course, it's not small. 100 MBs is not so big by today's standards, but also it's not so small by previous old standards. So it's somewhere in between. But let's just
Yeah.
give time so that we see how it works out.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why my internet speed has suddenly gone down, but that's totally fine.
Mm.
Now, it's good that I'm doing it live so that at least you get to see how it's going to work on your end. Otherwise, I would have downloaded it in advance. They just show you how to install it. But nonetheless, I think a minute or so isn't so much time to waste.
Yeah.
Okay, it's jumping up and down, but I think it's actually okay. That should be somewhere in the range of almost 80%, which is totally good.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think we're almost getting there.
Yeah.
The good thing is that this is the only, okay, well, maybe you might want to install also Chrome. I want to believe that you have it. I'll use Chrome
Yeah.
because it has the best developer tools. But let's do one thing at a time.
Yeah. I have it.
You have Chrome, yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
That's perfect. So I think besides this and Chrome, those are the only two large pieces of software that we needed. The others would come automatically. Well, not automatically, but we might also need to install them. So let's do one at a time. So Visual Studio Code, our code editor has finished downloading. So what you're going to do is
Yeah.
you're going to click on this icon, then you click on the program itself, then it's going to start installing. So just click on it once. It will start installing. As you can see, it has detected that I have it running. So I need to close it.
Yeah.
So the only problem I have is that I have it running on my other window. So I need to close it down.
Yeah.
So I have it running here. So I'll need to close it down. Then I'll switch back to this window and I'll say OK. So it's telling me setup is currently running. So it's telling me setup is running. Let me just check what else is running. I think it's closed down. I think it's closed down. I don't have anything else running here. Yeah, I have nothing else running. I don't know why it's giving me an issue. Let me see. Run it again. Yeah, so once you download it, you click on install. It will give you this window. Simply say
Yeah.
then you click on next. Then it will ask you, just click on next all the way to the end, right?
Yeah.
Then install. You don't need anything special. Next, 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 install. You don't need to change any configuration. Just pick the default that it provides us with. The other configuration
Yeah.
that we need to make, we might make inside the application itself once it has finished installing. Okay.
Ah.
So
Yeah.
while this is installing, or rather, let me just let it finish installing so that I also don't confuse you. I might be assuming that we know uh, uh, how to do multiple instructions at a time, which might be an
Yeah.
assumption. So let's just do one at a time. I don't think it's going to hurt us so much to take our time to set up our environment
Yeah.
properly.
Okay.
So this shouldn't take long. I believe a minute or so should be sufficient enough to install it.
Yeah.
That is almost done.
Yeah.
So yes, we have installed Visual Studio Code. Then you can simply say finish. Then it will basically open the Visual Studio Code window as you're seeing over here. And
Yeah.
that's basically it. Now we already have what we call uh, a code editor. Yours might look a bit different because,
Yeah.
of course, it is going to show the welcome and the release notes, and this place is going to be
Yeah.
blank. This one is showing some things because I already had some file open, but in your case, it should be just the welcome and the release note if you're opening it for the first time. Okay? Now we have
Yeah.
installed our first thing, which is our code editor. Now we need a few plugins that will make it easier for us to be able to test our pages as we go along. So the plugin that I'm going to install here is actually called Live Server. For now, I'm going to focus on Live Server only. As we are moving along into the course, then maybe we can be able to install others. But for now, I only need the Live Server for purposes of this particular implementation. So
Yeah.
install Visual Studio Code and it is running, as you can see over here. Simply come to
Yeah.
plugins over here, extensions rather, over here. Then from the
Yeah.
extensions, so you click on extensions, the fourth button here, extension.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
extension, you will type
Mm.
live server. I already have it installed, but just type live server. It's going to be the first one over here, this live server, as you can see over here. So click on it.
Yeah.
Then you can see on my place it is installed. In your place, it will be it will not because it is not going to be installed. You're going to see an icon here that says install. Simply click
Install.
on that icon and it will automatically install live server for you. It's as simple as that. Okay.
Yeah.
So once you install the live server, if you wanted to, if you will simply come down on your window here. You can see at the bottom near clock here where my mouse cursor is, where it's saying go live,
Yeah.
where it is saying go live. You will click down here where it's saying
Yeah.
go live. Then from here, it will be able to make your page come alive so that you can be able to make changes as you go along. So those are two important pieces of software that we've installed. We have installed the code editor and we've installed the live server plugin, which will allow us to be able to test our web pages in real time as we're making adjustments to them. Okay.
Okay.
Now,
Yeah.
the good thing with Visual Studio Code, as I had mentioned here, we might need to install a terminal. So the good thing with Visual Studio is that it comes inbuilt with the terminal. So if I come back to Visual Studio Code over here and I click on terminal here, you can see I have terminal already integrated in Visual Studio Code. So it makes it very easy for me to be able to run commands. Say maybe for example, I can say new terminal. Then from here, I might want to list rather the content of this directory. I'll simply say ls. It will be able to show
Yeah.
me all the contents of this directory. Okay, so
Okay.
if I say
Yeah.
maybe ls slash w page slash p or minus p rather, it will be able to show me these things page wise and stuff like that. Okay,
Yeah.
so we
Yeah.
already have terminal inbuilt inside Visual
Yeah.
Studio Code, so we don't need to install it separately. Now, the other piece of software we need is what we call a browser. So, a browser
Yeah.
is something that's going to allow us, first of all, to view the web pages and also to debug the web pages. So, a browser will do two things:
Yeah.
view the pages, then two, debug the pages, and especially when you're working with JavaScript or maybe server-side application like PHP and stuff like that. Okay, but of course PHP
Yeah.
is not within the scope of this course. Unless we find time, we can look at it briefly. But a browser would definitely help us to debug the front end. So the browser of my choice here would be Chrome. Chrome
Mm.
is what I would consider the browser to use. So for Chrome, you could have it most of the time you have it installed. But if you didn't have it installed on your computer, what you can do is you can open Google, then simply type Chrome, then
Yeah.
say download now. Then similarly to
Yeah.
how we installed Visual Studio Code, download Chrome, then just click on next, next, next. It's going to install it. Then you can be able to run it from your computer. It is that simple, right?
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
the other piece of software I said we needed is something called Git or Geographical Information Tracking. So again,
Took me tracking.
yes, geographical global, not geographical, but global information traffic. Not geographical, it is global. You know, I work with a lot of GPS.
Oh.
It is global,
Yeah.
not geographical, global information tracking. I work with a lot of GPS. That's why I think the word geographic is stuck in my head. It is global information tracking, not geographical. So global information tracking, as I had mentioned, it monitors the files that you have. Then whenever you
Mm.
make changes to those files, it tells you what you have added, what you have removed, what you have changed, and that kind of stuff. So it makes it a little bit easier for you to be able to modify or to monitor the changes that occur as far as your web app is concerned. So every day you're making changes, you can be able to see exactly what changes have been made as far as your application is concerned. Okay. So
Yeah.
to install Git, simply open a new browser window as I've done here by clicking on plus, then type Git. Git, just Git only, Git. Then you can come and say here, download Git for Windows. Okay, of course, it will depend on your operating system if you're using Mac, but I want to believe you're on Windows. If you're using Mac, if you're using Linux or Ubuntu or whatever platform it is that you're using, they will have a
Yeah.
option for you. So simply come and say, download Git,
And then,
come to downloads, then you'll be told which operating system are you using. You can see it has detected I am using Windows, but you can download for Mac, you can download also for Linux. It will depend on what you want. So I will download Git for Windows. I'll be asked which version of Windows am I using. Of course, it's a 64-bit, which is here. So I'll just click on 64-bit. Most of the Windows nowadays are 64-bit, right? So
yeah. Yeah.
download Git for 64-bit. Again, it's going to download it over here. It's not a very huge file, but then again, once you download Git, similar to how we install Visual Studio Code, once it finishes downloading, click on it, then just go
Mm.
next, 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 all the way to the end, and it's going to be installed on your system. Now, as I said, Git enables us to be able to track the changes that occur in our files, and that is very, very important if you're going to do any form of development. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that is, I think, what's important for us to be able to now, for us to be able to get started. Now, the other thing that I needed was GitHub. Git and GitHub are not the same thing. Git
Yeah.
is local, which means it is managed in your computer. GitHub,
Yeah.
however, is remote. So this one is remote.
Mm.
Essentially, it is where you go and store your files remotely. Um, uh, uh, so we have GitHub, for example, or Bitbucket.
Bitbucket.
Yes, Bitbucket. I don't know if you've heard about it.
Yeah.
So you can either use GitHub or Bitbucket or any form of remote access as far
Yeah.
as Git is concerned. But I'd prefer to use GitHub because it's much, much easier compared to all the others. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
to use GitHub, I already have an account, but in your case, what you will need to do is you're going to
Yeah.
open another browser window. Then you're going to go to github.com. I already have an account, so probably mine will just log in directly. But actually, if I
Yeah.
don't want it to log in, let me assume I don't want it to log in. I'll open an incognito window over here so that it does not
Yeah.
recognize me. Then just go to github.com like that. That should not recognize.
Mm.
Yeah. So once you go to GitHub over here, simply say sign up.
Okay.
Then provide your email, provide your password, choose a username, select your country, then simply say continue. They're going to create for you, they're going to send you an email link which you're going to click on so that you can confirm your account. Then it brings you back to GitHub. Then from there, we'll be able to pick it up moving on. Okay?
Yeah.
So this is where every time I make changes to my code and I want to back them up, I'll simply send them over to GitHub so that now even if I lost my computer, then I can easily just clone my repo. Or if I wanted to share my code with other people, maybe say we're doing project like 10 people and all of us are making changes to the project, this is going to be a very, very nice way of sharing those projects and knowing which files were changed by who and maybe narration and every other thing that might be necessary as far as those changes were concerned. Okay?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think as far as the environment is concerned, we have covered a lot. We have done how to set up our code editor, which is Visual Studio Code. We have added
Yeah.
plugin, which is Live Server. We have downloaded a
Yeah.
browser, which is Chrome. Then we have also
Mm.
installed Git, and also we created an account on GitHub. Then, of course,
Yeah.
the terminal is incorporated as part of the Visual Studio Code, so we don't need to install terminal separately. And in any case, the terminal most operating systems come with terminal because Windows has its own terminal. So, for example, if I say CMD, this is an example of terminal in Windows. Okay, so Windows within the Windows operating system itself, they have a terminal. There is the command prompt. There's also what we call PowerShell. So Windows PowerShell is also an example of a terminal. So you can see they're more or less the same. But then
Yeah.
so I can have Git. Git is also here. So I have Git Bash over here. So you can see this is also a terminal. So it will depend when it comes to terminal. Most of the
Mm.
tools that you're going to install are going to come with some form of terminal one way or another. Okay. So
Yeah.
maybe we might not install them separately on their own, but I just mentioned that we needed it to be able to do certain things as you're going to see when we start using our applications. Okay?
Yeah.
I know that's a mouthful. This is how to get the environment up and running. And this is
Yeah.
important because once you have this set up, then now we can move ahead and start discussing how exactly do we do web development. Okay?
Okay. Yeah.
Any question up to that point?
Only on the code editor.
Okay.
Uh, when I press go live,
Mhm. At the
it's
moment,
telling me,
at the moment, you're not going to see anything because you have not done anything yet.
oh, oh,
It's just like buying a TV and you mount it on the wall. If you have not
yeah,
plugged it in and you have not connected any input, like whether it's going to be DVD or decoder or antenna, it's not going to show you
yeah,
anything, right?
yeah,
The TV can just switch on, but then it says no input, right? Something of the sort.
yeah,
So we will need to give it some sort of input. Then we can be able to now start playing around with that input.
yeah,
Okay. So since we have our environment ready, let's start discussing
yeah.
something called HTML. HTML is
Okay.
going to be our first programming language. I don't consider it programming language because it's actually not a programming language per se. It's more like a publishing language. But again,
Yeah.
just let's just say programming language for the sake of this particular training. But it actually is not a programming language because HTML does not implement any logic. It is basically used for publishing. Okay, so
Yeah.
HTML in full means hyper text markup language. Hypertext markup language. This is actually the language of the internet. Why? Because
Yeah.
basically all the pages on the internet are based on
Yeah.
all the pages on the internet are based on HTML. So HTML is based on something we call elements. So HTML is based on elements. Elements. And elements are the things that we display on our page. For example, we can display a paragraph.
Yeah.
For example, paragraph. There could be headings, there could be images, there could be tables, there could be lists, there could be buttons. We also have forms and so many things that you can be able to display on your web page, right? So,
Yeah.
HTML is the language that tells the browser how to render these things on the page. Now, HTML is what we call a translated language. Now, in programming, we have two types of applications. We have what we call a compiled application. For example, Visual Studio Code that you're running here is compiled,
Yeah.
which means it comes as one object and it executes it comes as an already compiled object, so it executes as a single application, right? But when it comes to
Mm.
HTML, it is translated, which means the browser is going to open the document and execute one line after the other. That's the difference.
Yeah.
So for other applications like the ones we install on our computer, they are compiled, which means the source code is compiled into what we call object code. Then the object code is what is executed by the operating system. But when it comes to languages like HTML and JavaScript and even PHP, these languages are not compiled, they are translated, which means the file is opened and it is executed one line after the other. So open the file, then execute one line after the other, depending on the instructions that have been given, and then give the user the result that that particular operation is actually conducting. So I'm going to show you how that happens in a short while. So this is basically how HTML what HTML is. Hypertext markup language, the language that is used on the internet for purposes of displaying or publishing data. And it is translated, which means that it executes one line at a time. And at the same time, it is also based on elements, which means I have to tell it specific elements. I want a paragraph here, I want a heading here, I want a table here, I want an image here, I want a link here, and so forth and so forth. So that now if you say link, it knows how to render a link and those kinds of stuff. Okay?
Yeah.
Perfect. Now, I want us to do a simple HTML page from which we can be able to describe or discuss its structure. Okay?
Yeah.
So I will open my Visual Studio Code over here. I will come back to these things that looks like copy up here. Then
Yeah.
I will come to File, Open Folder. Open folder is here, right? So
Yeah.
File, Open Folder. Then I will go back to my document here and I will create a folder called Web Design Shortcuts. Okay, so once I create a folder, I'll,
Yeah.
I'll double click on it, then I'll say select folder. That should be able to open a new window for me where now I can start doing my thing. So again,
Yeah.
file, open folder, go to where you want to create your folder, then click on new folder, give your folder a name, like this is test folder, then press enter, then click on select folder if that's what you want. In my case, I'm only demonstrating how to do this. So I'll just
Yeah.
and I want to delete that test folder. So shift delete. But the folder that I'm interested in was web design shortcuts, which should be W, which is here. Then simply select folder. It will open it for you and you have a new window over here.
Yeah.
Perfect, right?
Yeah.
So once you have a new window over here,
Mm.
we have a menu at the top here. So we have file, edit, selection, view, and all that. Then we have
Yeah.
the shortcut icons over here. So we have Explorer, we have Search, we have Run and Debug, we have extensions, we have Remote Explorer, we have, okay, depending on the plugins that you have installed, I have Gemini, I also have Cloud Code, and I also have containers. But yours might not have all this. The only thing I'm not seeing here is GitHub, Git and GitHub.
Yeah.
I am not seeing them here for some strange reason, but well, maybe I'll figure that out how that comes out. But I think in your case, you should be able to have it. Again, it's not very important for us to have all of them at one time. What is important is just for us to understand how this window is organized. So we have menu, we have icons, then here we have the open editors, and then we have the file explorer down here. So the file explorer down here is going to be a very important area for us to work. Open editors will show us which files are open. Like you can see right now, I have welcome open, so I can see here welcome. So when I close this welcome, you can see now I don't have any open editors. So
Yeah.
I can simply come to our file explorer here and click on this first icon, which says new file. Okay. So when I click on new file,
Yeah.
I'll be asked to give the file a name. So I will say hello world. Hello world is the file name. Then dot is
Yeah.
the extension. Then I'll say .html. So I'm saying this is a HTML document. Now you can see the icon has changed into something like a tag. This is how we define HTML tags. Okay. So
Yeah.
click on your file, then file name, you simply say hello world.html, then you press enter. Now it will create that file and it will be able to open for us the file here so that you can be able to edit it. Okay.
Yeah.
Now we said HTML is based on elements, and these elements are defined using tags. So HTML elements are defined using tags. So HTML elements are defined using tags. So the tags start like this. They have a square, an angle bracket. Then we have the tag name.
Yeah.
Then we have a another angle bracket. Then we have the content. Then we have another angle bracket. Then a slash. Then the tag name.
Yeah.
This would be the general structure. This would be the general structure. But
Mm.
maybe not always. There's some scenarios where we don't have the closing tag. We call them open tags. Some elements don't have closing tags. Like if you're working with images, if you're working with horizontal rules, maybe if you're working with page breaks and all that, they don't have the closing tag, so to speak. But a majority of them have an opening tag. You put the content, then you put a closing tag. So the syntax is going to look like this most of the time. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's discuss how HTML looks like. Now, one of the example of elements that don't have a closing tag is the document type, which is how we start our HTML document. So for you to start any HTML document, simply put a square bracket, an angle bracket, simply put exclamation, then you type doc type. You can type it in capital or in lowercase, it doesn't matter. Then you say HTML. Then you close like that. Okay?
Where should I press?
Yeah.
Where should I press?
I'm saying you type
Yeah.
once you've typed hello world, it brings you here. Then you start typing.
Mm.
You're seeing where it's written hello world and there's a one. This is this window up here. This window on the right hand side. You're seeing where my
Yeah.
is blinking.
Mine is saying open chat. Uh, and then it's telling me control.I or select a language.
What I will do
Yeah.
for me to assist you easily,
Yeah.
I want you to go to Google,
Yeah.
then type up here uh,
Yeah.
Ultra Viewer.
Okay.
Ultra Viewer. Ultra Viewer like that.
Yeah.
Let me type it here.
Yeah.
Ultra Viewer. You seeing that?
Yeah. Yeah.
You type that, then download that software called Ultra Viewer, then install it. It's just also clicking on next, 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 all the way to the end.
It's the orange one or the blue one?
Orange Ultra Viewer should be blue. This one.
Oh, yeah.
Then simply say download.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be the orange one.
Yeah.
So click on the orange one, then just install it.
I've ins- I think I've installed it.
So it should give you something like your ID there and password. If you look at my screen, you opened it. Just open it. Once you've installed it, open it. Then you should see something similar to what you're seeing on my screen, right?
Yeah.
So just read for me your ID and your password and password.
Uh, my ID is I don't remember my password, but
No, no,
let
no.
me try and
On
log
your
in.
screen, there's something written. You can see on my screen. If you open Ultra Viewer, once you install it,
Yeah.
simply, mostly it will be on your desktop, as you can see over here.
Yeah.
Double click on it, it will open a window similar to what I have on my desktop over here. I want you to read for me this ID and password.
Okay.
Yes.
It's still installing. Just a minute.
Okay, no problem.
Mine is 113
113
256
256
469.
469. And your password is
Uh, my password is 4657.
4657. So I'll just take over your computer briefly so that I can help you troubleshoot what the problem is. Okay, so this is your computer. So what we're going to do is this is Visual Studio Code. You've installed it. Uh,
Yeah,
so this one is just ignore this part over here. Just start typing.
yeah,
You just start typing, it will go away. So if I put exclamation mark, as you can see, it goes away. Okay. So
yeah.
I meant you put open bracket like that. Then you type doc type. Then you say it is HTML. Then you close. That's what I wanted you to type. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So you're actually on the correct track. The only thing is that probably that was confusing you because it was automatically filling it things on its own.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah,
So I think that is okay. We can continue on. So I just need to minimize this. So I said the first thing you do is you type doc type in capital letters,
yeah,
then it is HTML. Forget about the autocomplete. We're not going to focus
yeah,
on them for now. So this is how you start a HTML document. Then
yeah.
you see this is an example of a tag that does not have a closing tag, similar to the syntax that we were discussing. It's an example of an open tag, so to speak. So these are what we call open tags. They don't have a corresponding closing tag. Now, once you define the document, the other thing you need to define is HTML, like that. And you see, automatically this code editor, when you type HTML, it will give you the corresponding closing tag for HTML. Okay?
Yeah,
Then you place your cursor inside, then you just press enter. Then after HTML, you're supposed to have something we call the head of your document. You can see also it closes the head. Then I press enter. Then from the head, I can have my title. Then I can say here, my title is Hello World HTML. Something like that, okay? Then
mm,
after the head, we now have what we call the body, okay? As you can see, when I type
yeah,
body, it closes it automatically for me. So there is body, then closing. But so you can see I have a tag. Inside here is where I'm going to put the content, and then I have a closing tag. So similar to what we're discussing over here, where you're saying you will have the tag name, then the content, then you'll have slash tag name. So this slash means that particular tag. Okay. And you can see that format is here. So when I have HTML, there's a corresponding HTML. When I have head, there's a corresponding close head. When I have title, there's a corresponding close title. And when I have close title here, rather, so when I have title here, there's a corresponding close title. And when I have body here, there's a corresponding close body at the bottom. So from here, I can simply say, welcome to. HTML, something like that. Okay. So this is an
Yeah.
example of a complete HTML document. We have the document type, which is HTML. This one tells the browser how to properly render this document. Then you have the HTML, which is now our document. Then we have the head. This is what goes on top of the document. There are so many things that come here. We will integrate a lot of things here, like the icon, like we the thing the styling we want to use on our entire website, the metadata, the language that we're using. We're going to incorporate so many other things as we move along, but in its simplest form, that's how it should look like. Okay. Then
Yeah.
we close the title. Once you close the title, then you can also close the head, then go to the body. So we have HTML, then head, then body. Okay. Now, since we have
Yeah.
a structure that looks like this, then now we can click on go live down here. Then it should be able to display the content of this page on our browser. So let's click on go live here. It should open a new browser window and you should be able to see the title is shown there, Hello World HTML, and that is actually our title, Hello World HTML, as you can see. Then inside the body of the document, we have said, Welcome to HTML. So here again,
Uh,
saying, Welcome to HTML. So the title is Hello World HTML and the body is Welcome to HTML, right?
I was asking,
Yes.
how do you go to the next paragraph?
Paragraph, like, let me just show you how you do it once again. Open bracket, exclamation
Yeah.
type, doc type, HTML.
Yeah.
Then you close, right? Then you press enter.
How do you close? Oh, you close using the
You,
brackets.
you type all these things. This one is on the keyboard, right?
Yeah.
If you look at your keyboard, the angle brackets are here. They're here. This one and the
Yeah.
angle brackets are well, this one and this one. These ones are a bit off, but the angle brackets are here. These are direction. Actually, they're not angle brackets. The angle bracket should
Yeah.
actually be seven. They should be. Well, this keyboard
Yeah.
is a bit interesting. They should be between. Yeah, they should. They're down here. These two.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I type this. Then I put exclamation mark, which is one. Then I say doc type. Then I put a space, which is here. Then I type HTML, which is HTML. Then I put the other bracket, which is here. Okay.
Yeah.
So once you type it, at the end of the line, you press enter, which is this one.
Oh. Yeah.
Then now you type the next thing, open bracket again. Then you say HTML. So now we are beginning our document. Then you close again. Then you press enter. You can see it has automatically closed it for you.
Yeah.
Then now you put open square bracket. Then you put. Sorry, I think I messed up a bit. Then you come here. You can press tab. Tab is this one. Just be above cap so that it goes inside a bit. Okay.
Yeah.
So you press tab. Then you type now your head. Then you press enter again. Then you type your title like that. Then from the title, you can say, Welcome to HTML, right? Then
Yeah.
I click where the head has ended, then I press enter, then now I type body. Then I press enter, then I can say here, Welcome to Hello World HTML. Let's just say Hello World HTML, something like that. Okay?
Yeah.
So this is,
Let me finish that.
go ahead.
Uh, I'm still typing.
Or you're still typing, that's okay.
Yeah. Mm,
Now this is how it's supposed to look like. Let me just type it for
Yeah.
you. You start with the doc type.
Yeah.
Well, it has to be capital letters. Well, it's not case sensitive anyway.
Yeah.
It's good if it's capital letter like that. Then you close bracket like that. Okay. Then you press
Mm.
enter from here. Okay. Then
Yeah.
open and you say HTML. Then
Mm.
you close. It will put the cursor inside there. What you do at that point, you press enter.
Yeah.
Then inside there is where now you type your head. Again,
Oh.
close. Then you press enter. Then again you type title. Then I put the title there. Hello.
One.
Okay.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
that's
Thank.
how you type it. Then after you're done with that, you come down here and you press
Yeah.
enter. Then you now put body. Then inside body here is where you now type welcome to HTML.
HTML.
So that's how you're supposed to type it, okay?
Yeah.
Can we do that again?
Yeah.
You can just review my screen.
Yeah.
You start with with an angle bracket. All tags start with an angle bracket.
I start with an angle bracket.
All the tags start with angle brackets.
Oh. Yeah. Tag start with angle. Yeah. Can I preview a screen?
Oh, you want to? Oh, okay. You can preview my screen. That's okay. Yeah, it's here.
Oh. Mm. Mhm. Mhm. HTML body. Oh. After typing head, I press.
After typing head, you press enter.
Oh.
Head, then you press okay, head, close. Then you press enter.
Enter.
Then now you type title. Then you put your title inside there.
Oh.
Then go to where the head is ended. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Go to where, okay, you can put space there, that's okay. Go to where the
Yeah.
go to where the head has been closed, the slash head.
Oh, here.
Like here, then you press enter,
Uh, enter.
then you now type body. No? Angle bracket, body, angle bracket, then you press enter. Then now you put your content inside there. Maybe say welcome to HTML or whatever it is you want to display on the page, right?
Yeah. Um,
Okay. This is actually very good. Now what you need to
yeah.
do, once you have done this,
Yeah.
simply come to file, then you say save.
Oh,
Or you can press Control S. Okay?
yeah.
To make it easier, just press Control S. Now once you have done that, then now you can come down here and click on Go Live. So it will go
Okay.
live on this page. Just say allow access. It should only ask you once. So now you can see it has actually given you your title, which is Hello
Yeah.
World, up here, Hello World
Yeah.
HTML. Then actually your content is displaying on the page. And this is how you design your web pages.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Very interesting.
Now that's the most basic part, and if you are able to get it this far, then that is
Yeah.
actually excellent.
Yeah.
So I think now we are good. So again, this is going to be the structure 99% of the time. Doc type HTML,
Yeah.
HTML, head, title, body. That is
Yeah.
mostly how it's going to be 99% of the time.
Okay.
Okay? So
Yeah.
now, as I was mentioning, HTML
Yeah.
uses what we call tags. As you've seen, these are tags. This is a tag
Yeah. Yeah.
and a corresponding tag. This is a tag, corresponding close tag. This is a tag, corresponding close tag. This is a tag, corresponding close tag.
Close
So
tag.
HTML works with tags. But then again,
Yeah.
as I had mentioned, we have two types of tags. We have these open closing tag, pair tags, which define elements. Then we have what we call
Yeah.
empty tags. So we have what we call empty tags. So we have empty tags, empty, and these empty tags don't have a closing tag. So they only have opening tag,
Tags.
but no closing tag. Okay? I'll give us an
Yeah.
example. Let's say, for example, on this page of mine, I want to draw a line below HTML here. So what I'll do, I'll press enter here and I will say open brackets HR or horizontal rule, then I'll close that. You see, once I do that, HR is
Mm.
just a tag with nothing. But when I come back to my page over here, the page is already open over here. You can see, let me refresh. You can see now there's a line drawn below HTML, isn't it? So if I was to put
Yeah.
text down there, like this is another line, this is another line of text. So if I come back to my page, I just need to save it. I'll see that I have hello world, I have a line, then I have this another line of text. So you can see here,
Yeah.
this horizontal rule is an example of what you call an empty tag.
Tag.
It does not have a closing horizontal rule like that. Okay?
Yeah.
There's no closing horizontal rule like that. Ideally, that's what I expected it to have done. But even if I did that, it won't make a difference. It will still be able to work out, as you can see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we have several tags that are empty. We're going to look at most of them later. So one of them is horizontal rule, which creates a line. Now, let's say, for example, we want to display multiple lines. Now, I'll just delete this one. let's say we want to do a poem, okay? So
Mm.
let's say we want to do a poem, and I'll put maybe one paragraph here, and I'll say, uh, Baba Black Sheep, have you any wool?
Yeah.
So what I'll do is I'll just remove these ones. So I am typing Baba Black Sheep, have you any wool? Yes sir, 3 bags full. Then I can continue. One for the master, one for the dame, and one for the
Little one.
little one who lives down the lane.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can see I have written actually some text over here, isn't it? Actually, let me just
Yeah.
the paragraph. Let's just put it as plain text. So when I do that and I come to my browser window, you can see this thing is on one line.
Yeah.
But how I have typed it, it's actually on different.
The different lines.
Okay. So that's the
Yeah.
problem you have with HTML. As we have said, this is going to be a publishing language, not a formatting language. And that's why now
Language.
we have other tags that will help us to now simulate now things like creating new lines. So if I wanted to create a new line, I'll put something like BR. BR will create a new line like that. So I can copy that, BR, sorry. So if I put a BR, automatically
Mm.
after this text, it will put a line break. And you can see this is an example of an empty tag. So when I come back to my page here, you can see now Bob Black is on one line, the rest are on a different line.
Yeah.
And I can simply put BR all the way to the bottom. But again, that can be a very difficult job. I can use another HTML tag called pre, which means pre-format. So if I put everything inside pre-format, it will try to format it in such a way that it will maintain the line feeds that I have put on my documents over there. So as you can see now, when I pre-format it, all of them are actually on separate lines. Okay.
Yeah.
So these are
Yeah.
examples of what you're calling. Actually, pre is not an empty tag, but it helps us to be able to format these things in separate lines if we needed to put the content on separate lines.
Yeah.
You want to try that?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Mm.
Okay, but see, visual can be updated. I think that's okay.
Multi-check. Potete cucinare, dici, multi-check, ma vai. Oddio. Non lo contatto. Come finché adesso con secondo. Che smesh.
I'm done.
Press Control S, or you go to save. Then you can come back to the. Then just go back to your browser. You should be able to see the changes. I think the browser is there, so you can see now it has made the changes, right?
Yeah,
So that's how easy it is to work with some of these tags. Okay,
yeah,
good. Now let's look at something else. Let's talk about headings. So in HTML, we have 6 headings in total.
yeah.
So in HTML, we have 6 headings in total,
Mm,
starting from H1, which is the largest, all the way to H6, which is the smallest. Okay. Now
mm,
headings help us to identify the portions of a page. Let's say, for example, you want to do your CV. So heading one will be my CV, isn't it? Generally, this is my
mm.
CV. That's heading one. Then heading two would be something like my biodata, isn't it? Then
Yeah,
maybe another heading two would be academic qualifications, isn't it?
mm,
But then at head three, I'll have now primary, another head three, primary, secondary rather, then another head three, college. So you get the flow of how this works. So heading one is my
yeah,
CV, heading two is my biodata, where now I can put my name here, religion, gender, and all those kind of things. These ones don't need to be headings, okay? But academic
yeah,
qualification is going to be heading. Then as academic qualification, now I have different academic qualifications. So this is how this document kind of like looks like. So when we're talking about headings, the structure of the document will take something in this shape and format. So you can see I have heading one, and you should only have only one heading one anyway in any document. Any HTML
yeah,
document should only have one heading one, and the rest are subheadings. So heading two is a subheading, heading three is a subheading, heading four is a subheading, and so forth and so forth. Now you must not use all of them; just use them as appropriate. Okay? Let me show you how that works out. So, um, where's my code window? It's here. So I'll create a new file here. I'll come to the new window here. I'll click add a file here, new file here. Then I'll say headings.html. Then of course it will open the headings window. Then I'll put doc type, which is HTML. Then I'll put my HTML. Then I'll press enter. Then I'll put my head. Then I'll press enter. Then I'll put my title. Then I'll put enter. Then I'll simply say headings in HTML.
yeah,
Then for after the head, I'll put my body like that. Then for headings, I start with H1 like that. Then in the H1, I'll simply say my curriculum vitae, isn't it?
mm,
So after that, then I can put now H2. So that's heading one. So let's just review what heading one looks like. If I want to review the current document, I will first of all stop. I'll come down here and stop the server. Then I'll come to my new document. Then I'll say start go live again so that it disposes the older one. Then it launches the newer one. So you can see now it has launched the newer one. Okay, it has
yeah,
launched the newer one over
yeah,
here. So you can see now the heading is much bigger because I've said it is
mm,
heading one. So you can
yeah,
see heading one is much bigger.
yeah,
All right, you want to try that out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can,
Oh, I go back to the
can I
top.
see?
Okay,
Yeah.
no problem. It's here. Success.
Almost done.
Okay.
Yeah, done.
So that's okay now, eh?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. So just save it. Control S. Then click on this port down here to dispose of to close the server. Then go live again so that it launches this new page.
Okay.
So you can see it works perfectly.
Yeah.
So you'll need to get used to that back and forth, eh?
Yeah.
So especially when you create new documents, that's how you stop the server, then you launch it. You can see the old server is here, so you can actually close this one because this is the older page, so that you now only focus on this new one.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's how you get around it. So as I was saying, we have different types of headings. We have heading one, then you can have heading two down here. Usually, I like you can press tab, press enter, then you press tab so that it goes inside. It's called indentation. So usually you indent your data so that it is easily readable. You can see I have HTML and I have closing HTML. So all these
Yeah.
things are inside HTML. So I'm able to see where the HTML starts and where it ends.
And
Okay.
yeah.
Then also
Yeah.
head, you can see I have head here, and whatever is inside head, I have indented. So it makes it very easy
Yeah.
for me to be able to read what is within the head. Otherwise, if they are on the straight line, it's very, very difficult for me to see that. That's why if I'm creating heading one, then I want heading two to be inside heading one, I'll simply press the tab key. The tab key is this key next to just on top of the caps, on top of the caps. Okay, this one. So go to a new line, then you press tab so that you indent on the inside. Okay?
I do what?
I'm saying once you put your
Hmm?
heading one, then you put enter, then you now
Yeah.
press tab. You press this tab key, this one.
Oh,
It will push it on the inside as you can see over here. Then now you go ahead and you type now your H2.
I push the tab on the inside.
Yes, I want you to indent. Indenting means I don't want this H2 and this heading one to be on the same line. So I want it to be on
Oh,
the inside. As you can see, I've done over here. So in
oh,
short, I
so
want you to
I
be able to read whenever I have headings, I'm able to see this one is inside this one. Like I was explaining, everything here is inside HTML. So you can
yeah.
see I pushed them inside. Now, everything here is inside the body, so I've pushed it inside. And inside head rather, I've pushed it inside. Now, everything inside here is under body, that's why I've pushed them inside. But now, after heading one, I want to have all heading twos down here, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. What's not
Yeah.
what's not clear?
I've pushed it.
Oh, you pushed it, okay? So here I can
Yeah.
say personal details or biodata,
Uh,
biodata, isn't it? Then
yeah.
biodata now, I can now start putting paragraphs here. I can say my name, full colon, also Richard, Nyango, something like that. Then I can put another paragraph. Then I say gender, male. Then I can go ahead and put another paragraph, religion, I say Christian, isn't it? Something like that.
Yeah.
So you can see I have heading one, then heading two, then all these paragraphs, I can highlight them, then I press tab, they go under head biodata here. Okay?
Yeah.
Then I can come and put another heading two here, and I call it academic qualification. Something of that sort, isn't it? Qualification.
Yeah.
Qualification, that's strong spelling. Qualification, that's how it's spelled correctly. So from academic qualification, I can put another paragraph here, which is heading three. So for heading three, I can say primary school. Then here I can now put paragraph. And I can say, let me say, maybe say Kariobangi Primary School, for example.
Mhm.
Then I can put another paragraph. Then from maybe say 1990, from 1990 to maybe say 1998, something of the sort, right? Then I can
Yeah.
come here and I say, maybe say 350 marks, something of the sort. So you can see now I have now my academic qualification and I have primary school over here. Then I can go ahead now go and put secondary school. So I'll put here another H3 and I'll say high school like that. Then high school now I can put paragraph. I can simply say maybe Maseno school, assuming that's where I went to school. Then maybe I can put another paragraph here and say Maseno school was from 1999 to maybe say 4 years, that should be 2001, or
Mm.
to thereabout. Then I'll say mini grade. Let's assume I got a C plus. That kind of a thing. So you can see now I have within my document, I have main heading, which should only appear once as a curriculum vitae. Then I have a subheading, which is biodata, and subheading has the following information. Then I have another subheading, which is academic qualification. Then there's a subheading. So under academic qualification, there is primary, there is high school, there is college, there is professional qualification, and all that kind of stuff. I can even go ahead and put here another heading three and put work experience, isn't it? Then from work
Yeah.
experience, now I can simply start with another heading four. Work experience is actually heading two, not heading three. Work experience is heading two. Then maybe heading three would be Technical University of Kenya. University of Kenya, like that. Then I can now put paragraph here from maybe say 2015 to date. Then maybe I can say position here. Then I can simply go ahead and say something of the sort. Then I can put all my other qualifications down here, as you can see. So if I
Yeah.
have worked in multiple places, then the other place would be somewhere like here. So maybe I can put another one here, maybe 33. Maybe say something like that's fictitious company. Then maybe I can just copy this and paste them down here. Then I can simply say from 2005 to 2009, position was a developer, specialization was web applications. Something of the sort, right? So you can see
Yeah.
why headings are important. This is the first heading, second subheading, 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 subheading. So you can nest these headings for as low as possible depending on what you want to achieve as far as your document is concerned. Remember, this is all about publishing, not formatting. It's only formatting the document so that when you come to format it, it becomes very, very easy to target these elements and apply appropriate styles to them.
Yeah.
Okay? So once I do
Yeah.
that and I come back to my page over here and I look at it, now you can see how my CV looks like. So
Yeah.
we have one main heading, subheading, data, another subheading, subheading, data, subheading, data, subheading, subheading, data, subheading, data. So you can see how it flows. So headings are very, very important because they help us organize the document as appropriate. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
You want to try it?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Mm. 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 Nilipa umeona nikikapo student wako tania. Nikapa.
Take a camera. Camera is off.
Nashangaa ni chip ndio ilikuwa. Lakini sasa hivi unajua usumbufu tupo.
Mm,
Any challenge?
uh, not yet.
Okay. Success? Victor?
Yeah, I'm here at Cybertruck Limited where I'm almost finished typing.
You can use your own, it's okay.
Oh, okay. I'm done.
So now it's okay, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me just have a look at it. So just save it, Control S, stop the live server, then you run the live server on this one.
How do you stop?
You click on down
Oh,
here.
good.
Mm.
Oh,
Then go live on this new page.
okay.
So you can see it. So that's how you work with headings, okay?
Yeah.
So one more thing I wanted us to see today is how you view the code. So maybe, for example, you want to get inspiration from, maybe say you go to a site like Instagram,
Yeah.
and you want to see how they have done their page like this. So if you wanted to know how they have done certain things, like how do they create this image and stuff like that, you can right
Yeah.
click on this page, go to inspect. Then from here, you can view how they have actually written the page. So you can see all these things are just HTML. Doctor HTML, the HTML document, there's the head. Of course, they've included
Yeah.
things on the head, there's the body, they've included a lot of things on the body, and so forth and so forth, right? So
Yeah.
this is how, probably if you wanted to get inspiration to see how they have done things, that's how you'd view the code. So that's one way of viewing it. Right click,
Yeah.
then you come to inspect. The other
Inspect.
way
Yeah.
is right clicking, then you come to view page source. So all
Yeah.
the page source will also be able to tell you. So you can see doc type, it's HTML, and all these things. These are just scripts that they have included in the document, but generally that is how this is actually the composition of the page. So
Yeah.
similarly with our pages, if I wanted to see how you've constructed it or debug it, I would right click,
Yeah.
then I'll come to inspect.
Inspect.
Then from there, I can be able to come and see how exactly it has been written.
Yeah.
Similarly, I can right click, then I'll say view page source. I'll still end up at how exactly the page
Yeah.
was actually written.
Yeah.
See, the live server has injected some code over here. This is not your code. Live server has
Yeah.
injected some code over here so that now it is able to, to work on the fly. Every time there's a change in your document, it automatically reloads it. Okay?
Yeah.
So that's very,
Yeah.
very important. Moving forward, we're going to be reviewing how our page works and all that kind of stuff. So we will be looking at how to be able to add it within, how to be able to view the source code within the developer tools. Now, I don't prefer using Chrome. I don't prefer Mozilla. I prefer using Chrome. Chrome
Yeah.
is a much better solution for me as far as debugging is
Yeah.
concerned. But nonetheless, whichever tool you're comfortable with, I think the features are more or less the same. But for
Yeah.
my case, I'd prefer to use Chrome instead
Chrome.
of any other browser because of its capability of the developer tools.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that is a mouthful for a day.
Yeah.
Maybe what I'll do, I'll share this video with you. Then maybe within the course of the day, I'll be able to give
Yeah.
you what you can be able to practice on.
Okay. It's fine.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we can take a break at that. You can absorb that in the meanwhile, in the meantime.
Yeah.
Then probably
Yeah.
within the day, maybe say within an hour or so, I'll be able to share with you the assignment that you can be able to practice between today and tomorrow.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Any question up to that point? You can see it's very interesting thing. It's very easy to start off
Yeah.
with. Once you understand
Yeah.
how the tags work, you will be good to go.
Yeah.
Sawa sawa.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, mwalimu.
Hakuna swali?
Hapo hadi hapo
Eh,
hapo ilikuwa ngumu vile. Tafanya tu practice alafu nione.
okay, sawa sawa. You can just
Have
even
a nice day.
okay, you too.
Yeah.
You can even try it on your you can try other things on your own just to see how you can
Yeah.
play around with it to see what kind of content you can be able to put in. You can
Yeah.
put a CV, you can put a recipe, you can put directions to a location, you can put a
Okay.
register. You can really decide to put anything so to see exactly what I can be able to use A or B and stuff like that. Eh?
Yeah.
So okay. Then we'll keep in touch. Eh?
Yeah. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Okay. Okay.